I'm here in northern Baja, Mexico, right near the U.S. border. Each month, 3,800 Mexicans move up to the northern Baja area. They come to find work in one of more than 936 foreign factories. They end up making about $12 to $15 a day. They come looking for hope and a better life, and what they end up with is living in a makeshift shack full of tarps and garage doors and pallets and whatever they can find to build some kind of a structure. And over time, they try and build a better house, but of course it takes years and years when they're making $12 or $15 a day. And the Homes of Hope program is designed to come alongside these families and give them a better home to live in immediately. Youth of the Mission is a large international, interdenominational Christian mission. It has over 1,000 operating locations in 147 countries with about 16,000 full-time staff. YWAM San Diego Baja was established in 1991 as a chapter of Youth of the Mission International. We have 4 operating locations: San Diego, Tijuana, Tecate, and Ensenada. Each year we host over 6,000 participants that come to participate in Homes of Hope, Mission Adventures, and our University of the Nations courses and seminars. Homes of Hope was started in May of 1990 when myself and some staff from Youth of the Mission Los Angeles came down to Tijuana, Mexico to do one house. While we were building that first house, my 3.5-year-old daughter, Andrea, kept looking at this other family living next door in an old abandoned bus, and she came up to me on the second day and said, "Dad, are we going to build a house for that family too?" And that really touched my heart, and so we did a second house, and then we continued to do more and more homes. It took us 12 years to do the first 1,000 homes, 4 years to do the next 1,000, and with our plan that we have in place for the future, we hope to do 1,000 homes every 2 years. The foundation for Homes of Hope comes from Isaiah chapter 58, verse 7, where it says, "This is true religion, this is true fasting, to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter." One of the most frequent questions we get asked is, how do you determine which family gets a home? Well, we use several factors to consider when determining which family gets our help. One of the first factors we look at is their financial situation. What is their income level every month? The next factor we look at is their family size. We also do a site visit to determine if where they're living right now, that structure is in need of replacement. We sit down with each family, do a very extensive interview, have them fill out some forms and some applications, and then we come to a determination of who is truly the neediest kinds of families, and those are the families that get selected for a Home of Hope.
You may be asking yourself the question, why does so much of the country look so unfinished? Imagine if you had to pay cash for everything you owned, including your home. In Mexico, the poor cannot afford home loans, so they can only build a little at a time. It's easy to make false assumptions about somebody else's culture, so take the time to ask lots of questions. It's important to work hard to get the structure up, but it's also important to build a relationship with your building team and the family receiving the home. And remember, your host translator and foreman are there to serve you. The culture of Mexico is conservative, so please wear modest clothing at the job site. Please, no halter tops or tank tops. If you do wear shorts, make sure they are of modest length. Smoking and drinking are prohibited at the job site, at the YWAM Center, and in the YWAM vehicles. YWAM is not responsible for lost, stolen, or damaged personal items, so please use good judgment when bringing valuables to the build site. Don't forget to bring your sunscreen, a long-sleeve shirt, and a hat for shade. Over a long day on the job site, you could experience a variety of weather, so we recommend bringing layers of clothing. YWAM will provide clean drinking water and lunch each day on site. Porta potties are also provided for you. Safety is always our #1 priority, especially on the job site. Remember to be safe. Safety glasses are provided for everyone. It's very important when on the job site to wear them, especially when hammering or using any of the power tools. No one under the age of 18 is allowed to use the power tools without adult supervision. No one under the age of 12 is allowed on the roof. When working on the roof, make sure tools, ladders, and electrical equipment are secured. Your elected safety manager is responsible for overall safety at the build site. Look for the bright yellow safety jacket and follow their rules for a fun and safe building experience. In case of emergency, see your building foreman or elected safety manager for information to get to the nearest hospital. Emergency instructions are always kept on site. You'll find lots of stray cats and dogs in Mexico. For your safety, we ask that you don't feed or play with the animals. By the time you get to the job site, the house's concrete foundation will already be laid, dried, and ready to support the structure. Before you begin building, we'll take a moment to say a group prayer for safety and to bless the house for the family. We provide all the tools and supplies you'll need to complete the house, along with a host foreman to guide you along the way. Your foreman will break you up into various teams at the start of the building process. Good teamwork makes the job go quicker and maintains quality of the build. But feel free to try your hand at every job. You'll find a large toolbox with protective gloves, hammers, nail aprons, extension cords, a handsaw, and handheld power tools like the drill and the skill saw. For smaller tools like pencils, box cutters, extra safety glasses, speed squares, and the hammer stapler, look in the small utility box. Before swinging your hammer, make sure you use the right kind of nail for the job you are doing. A generator powers electricity while on the build site. Typically, each house is painted in 2 or 3 different colors. Before you begin painting, please verify with your foreman that you're using the correct paint color. Make sure each side of the gable panels are painted before they're installed. In the paint box, you'll find roller handles, paint pans, paint brushes, caulking for the windows, and rags to use for cleanup. You'll also find plastic bags for storing your paint rollers overnight. The first step in building your house is the framing. The walls are framed and assembled on top of the concrete slab using 2x4s. The exterior wall siding has grooves in it and should be painted on the grooved side. The door and 3 windows should be cut out from the exterior siding before the walls are raised in place. Caulking is used initially to install the window. It's then nailed to the exterior siding and covered with trim pieces. The inside window sills should be finished with painted wood trim pieces. Each home will be wired throughout for electricity. Use the handsaw to cut the electrical box opening before the drywall is installed. Sheetrock, otherwise known as drywall, is installed as the interior wall. Use the drywall spacers at installation. Take care when pounding nails into the soft drywall, as it can easily break or dent. There is a right and a wrong way your finished nails should look. Use the painted 1-inch trim pieces to cover the drywall nails and seams. Trusses are used to support the roof. The truss team will put the truss together under the direction of your host foreman. The roof sheeting has no grooves and should be painted on the smooth side. The inside of the trusses can be seen from inside the house, so they should be painted too. Once the roof sheeting has been installed, nail down a layer of felt, then finish off the roof with the 3-tab shingles. After preparing the door frame, trim it with wood and secure it in place. Upon completion of the new home, the keys will be turned over to the family during a house dedication ceremony. Before you go home, make sure you take some time as a group to share your experiences with each other.
The house you're about to build will help bring real transformation to this family's life in 5 key areas. The first is economic. What you're about to give them would take them 7 years to replicate on their own. Education. Children who come back to a home are 3 times more likely to stay in school. Health. Just by putting in a concrete floor reduces reoccurring respiratory problems. The one that's really fascinating is the social emotional benefits. Children that come back to a home are better learners. They have less fear and they're able to settle and be better students. And the last area is spiritual impact. We want each family to understand that God deeply loves them and cares about their situation.
There was a storm that came and washed many starfish high up onto the beach so that they weren't going to make it back into the water. A young boy walking along noticed this and began throwing the starfish back into the water one at a time. A man came up to the boy and asked what he was doing. And the boy said, "I'm throwing these starfish back into the water." The man looked and there were literally thousands of starfish all stranded on the beach. He said, "You're never going to get all those starfish back into the water. What difference can you possibly make?" So the young boy picked up another starfish and threw it back into the water and said, "I made a difference to that one."
There are thousands of families that need a home, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming when we look at the massive need. But let me assure you, what you're going to do over the next few days will matter to the family that receives this home. Thanks for making a difference. Thank you for participating in Homes of Hope.